Sellout crowd at Candlestick Park in San Francisco. Jason Garrett, 45 years young, grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, took over for Wade Phillips as interim head coach in November of last year. Cowboys started the season 1-7, went 5-3 under Garrett. Meanwhile, Jim Harbaugh, raised in Ann Arbor, Michigan, finished high school in Palo Alto, went back to the University of Michigan, and comes to the 49ers after taking the Cardinal to an Orange Bowl victory last year. Well, what a player he was.
You know what? He was never the high completion guy, the efficient guy, but what a competitor. You knew he was going to make the play in the clutch. And as a guy that the players loved because he was just so tough.
David Akers, a former Philadelphia Eagle, will kick it off. The 49ers won the toss and deferred, so Tony Romo will lead the Dallas Cowboys offense right from the get-go. Will take a knee, and the Cowboys on offense. Up front, Derek Dockery gets his first start as a Cowboy, replacing the injured Bill Nagy. They've overhauled this offensive line from last year. We'll talk about it throughout the afternoon. No Des Bryant. He's down today. So Kevin Ogletree makes his first career start. Jason Witten coming off a 100-yard receiving game. And Tony Romo gunning for his 40th regular season win against just 23 defeats. A little too high for the intended receiver, Miles Austin. He was open. Defensively for the 49ers, Justin Smith coming off a 2-sack performance in the opening game win over Seattle. Their main man in the middle is Patrick Willis. He's been to 4 straight Pro Bowls, and in the secondary, Deshaun Goldson injured. Madieu Williams starts at free safety. Felix Jones tried to cut it back to the inside and lost his footing.
You know, the Cowboys are starting Dockery, and I know that Nagy was hurt, but I think they planned on starting Dockery anyway. This is a big physical offensive line. The 49ers are a little undersized, except for Sopoaga. They don't have one guy over 300 pounds. I think Dallas's plan is to be physical with this smaller San Francisco 49er defense.
3rd and 9. On 3rd down. Then Jason Witten, a first down up to the 47-yard line. He had 6 catches for 110 yards last week.
If it's a crunch time, you better know Jason Witten's going to be involved. This is Tony Romo's go-to guy. They have that nuance about them, that sixth sense. You wink, I nod. I know where you're going. I know where I need to put the ball. Watch for the whole game. In a truly critical situation, Tony Romo's going to find Jason Witten.
Those are the numbers we talked about last week against the Jets. 68% of his receptions, over 600 receptions, have come on 3rd down. So after the 25-yard gain, they set up the screen to Felix Jones. And he's to the 49-yard line.
You know, the 49ers don't have that dominant pass rusher the way the Cowboys do. So they're going to do it by committee. I'm going to be watching carefully. How many guys are they willing to commit to a rush? 4, 5, 6? What does it take to put pressure on Tony Romo?
Second and 5, Jones again, and nowhere to go. It's something that Dallas talked about wanting to do more of. Run the football, run it effectively. Of course, Jones becomes the Cowboys' primary running back after the release of Marion Barber. But against a very good, it should be said, very good defense.
Oh,
They
boy.
didn't do much running the ball, and all of a sudden injured is Felix Jones. That's plagued him since he came in the league.
Yeah, it has, and this would hurt, obviously, the Cowboys. Looks like as he get hits in here, possibly going down, reaches his arm down in there. That's unfortunate. That'll be a tough loss for them if indeed he has to go.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
They're taking a look at Felix Jones on the Dallas sideline. Opening drive of the game, and the Cowboys with a third down in the yard. They really struggled in the fourth quarter in short yardage situations last week against the Jets. And it appears to be just enough for Tashard Choice to get a first down.
Yeah, and the good thing for the Cowboys, obviously it'd be a huge loss if you saw Felix go down, and it's hard to see here whether he got hit, whether he came down on the ball. The good thing for the Dallas Cowboys, their group of running backs all have the same style of play, whether it's the rookie DeMarco Murray, obviously when they go to Tashard Choice, they're all big physical backs. They don't have to change the style of their play.
Well, they go to three tight ends on first down, and they swing it to Choice out of the backfield. And read beautifully on the far side by Terrell Brown. Of course, the third member of our team this entire year. We welcome into the broadcast for the first time to Laura Oakman.
Thanks, Tom. I talked to Tony Romo during warm-ups. He told me he could not wait to get the taste out of his mouth from last week, but stressed one game does not define a season or career. I talked to his good friend Jason Witten. He told me he saw a big difference in Tony this week. Said normally you have to pull him along after a tough loss. Not this time. He said it's the quickest transition he's ever seen, moving from how did this happen to how will this make me better.
Well, thank you. Second and 15. And again, Choice after they fake the handoff, and a big gainer for another first down to the 30-yard line. So after the injury to Felix Jones, Tashard Choice coming out of the backfield, a gain of 18.
Nice action here. You fake the handoff, and typically you come out of this in a boot or a waggle, you go someplace else. But this is very vogue in the NFL. You come back and throw to the guy you fake to. Too often, no one has him in coverage, and that's exactly what we saw there.
Double reverse to Ogletree, and that didn't fool anybody. I got to ask you, Brian, why?
Well, the thing I would question about it, when you start to approach that red zone where you could possibly be in field goal, you don't want to do anything that can take you out of it, a deep 7-step drop or a reverse like that. Now they've kind of pushed themselves outside the edge. Rather than thinking first down, they got to think about getting back into field goal position.
Line
10th play of the drive coming up. Second down and 15. And a timeout.
You know, I'm a little surprised, Tom, and Jason Garrett might be as well. I thought we would see a little more pressure by the San Francisco 49er defense. As I mentioned, they don't have a DeMarcus Ware. They don't have that one guy you have to account for. So I thought so far we would see the 49ers be a little more active in putting pressure on Tony Romo with multiple fronts and bringing more people, but they're actually getting pretty good pressure with just their four-man front. So it'll be interesting to see if defensive coordinator Vic Fangio stays with that mentality.
Well, it looks like they're working on the shoulder pad area to get everything strapped down to see if they can get Jones back on the field.
That always amazed me, Tom, to have a player that goes back into a game with his shoulder strapped down. Rod Woodson, for years, played with his shoulder strapped down, would come up with interceptions. The idea of playing in an NFL game basically with one arm, that was always amazing to me.
Of course, the Cowboys used to see that with Emmitt Smith. Pressure. A strike again to Witten. And it's down to the 12-yard line, and people can say whatever they want to say late in the game. Can he win the big win about Romo? Coach Billick, I know you like a lot of things, and this being one of them.
I want you to watch him in the pocket. Right here, it's a four-man rush with nobody in the backfield, but I want you to watch the way he climbs the pocket. Tony Romo may be as good as anybody in the league of stepping into the pocket, not having his feet underneath him, but he gets the ball out of his hands so quickly. He's so effective when he moves in the pocket like that.
The rookie out of Oklahoma, DeMarco Murray. And maybe a yard. Second down at the 49ers 11. Well, this has to be such a good feeling for Romo. I mean, look, this is a pro. He's won 39 games and lost 23. He's been to the Pro Bowl. For 3 quarters last week, he was lights out. Then the fumble near the goal line, the interception, allowing the Jets to get the game-winning field goal. But to come out your very first drive after that interception, pretty impressive.
He just told us he wanted to play calm. Well, so far, he's playing calm.
John Phillips, their third tight end, makes a catch of the 4. It'll bring up third down. They can get a first down just outside the 2.
Again, watch Tony Romo move in the pocket. And the thing that allows him to be successful is he is almost Marino-esque in the way he gets the ball out of his hand. He can be in any body position, climb the pocket, and when he wants the ball out of his hand, when he sees a guy open right now, that thing is gone. That is a huge asset and rare in this league.
Thirteenth play of this drive. Blown dead before it ever got started. May have been some movement. Timeout. They were trying to fool everybody by pitching that thing to Austin. A timeout was called just before the snap. Golden Gate Bridge, of course, taking you out to Marin County. What a beautiful part of this great country. Already a pair of timeouts taken by Dallas on this opening drive. Third down, a yard on the 13th play of the drive. Tony Romo looking for a flag.
Yeah, I think he had a bit of a right there. Looked to be late contact here. You're going to see this on the outside. He's going to go vertical. You're past that 5-yard rule. Those hands, I guess he felt like he didn't get any impetus in the push. That doesn't mean you're still not looking for the call. He's begging for anything he can get.
This will be a 21-yard field goal try for the rookie out of Oklahoma State, Dan Bailey. He won the job during training camp and during the preseason. He hit on a 34-yard field goal in his NFL debut. And it's no good. Wow.
This game is sponsored by the Ford F-150, the only truck available with EcoBoost, by the California Whopper and California Whopper Junior sandwiches, only at Burger King, and by the Droid Bionic, made for machines to rule all machines, only at Verizon.
Wide right from 21 yards out. You chew up nearly 8 minutes on the clock and come up empty.
And this is a huge opportunity for the 49ers now. That's a big win for them, even though they just got marched on down the field. Alex Smith can seize the day here, take the energy back the 49ers' way.
Well, now the first pick overall going back to 2005. Alex Smith will come out throwing. Swings it out of the backfield. And maybe back to the line of scrimmage on the catch is Frank Gore. You talked about this young offensive line. You like them a lot.
Very much so. And they've put some money in this offensive line now. They got 3 first-round draft choices, a second-round draft choice, and a high-priced free agent and Goodwin in the middle. That's a pretty good group.
They're without Michael Crabtree today. Vernon Davis, their go-to guy. And, of course, the quarterback, Alex Smith. Hard to believe he's only 27. See, 20 and 31 as a starter. contact between Jenkins and Braylon Edwards. No flag. Take a look at Dallas defensively. Their main man in the middle, Jay Ratliff. DeMarcus Ware already with 2 sacks in the season opener. Keep an eye on Sean Lee. He had a big opening week game. But in the secondary where the problems begin, they're without Terrence Newman. They're without Orlando Scandrick. Mike Jenkins was in and out of the game last week injured. And Alan Ball, their starter at safety last year, goes back to cornerback. Blitz coming. And wide open is Edwards. They converted 1 third down last week. They convert on their first 3rd down today.
They're going to move Ware all over the place here. If you're going to double me, and believe me, you better double DeMarcus Ware every snap that he wants to come at the quarterback, you're going to have to find me first. We've already seen him line up like a middle linebacker. You're going to see him outside. You're going to see him with his hand in the dirt.
Coming out, throwing it around. Set up the screen to Delaney Walker, the backup tight end to Vernon Davis. And that's a gain of 9. We'll call it 2nd a yard. Well, we talked about the injuries in that secondary. Newman's been hurt since the start of camp. Scandrick injured last week. He's been their nickelback. Jenkins on the field, off the field the entire game. Ball, a one-time corner, who went to safety, now back at corner. And then Frank Walker just brought in this week.
Yeah, my question was, how aggressive was Rob Ryan going to be with that many people gone in the secondary? He's already come after it a couple times.
Nice play by Sean Lee to chop down Gore in the backfield. 3rd down upcoming.
You can look at this. You've got people, he's in, he's out, moving down in here. The linebackers moving up. They're doing a lot of things that they want to show this offensive line of the San Francisco 49ers. That's all well and good, but that leaves your now new secondary in the back end a little vulnerable to one-on-one. Alex Smith's going to have to take advantage of that down the field in order to get the win today.
For Walker, and he couldn't handle the quick flip. So the 49ers will punt it.
Well, they wanted to get Alex Smith outside the pocket a little bit. Remember how athletic this guy was in college at Utah. This guy could move around. Jim Harbaugh came in, felt like they didn't move him around enough in the last couple offenses that he was in. They want to get him outside the pocket because they think he's very good in that capacity.
Wayne Harris, 6th-round pick this year out of East Carolina, was a big return man in college. And with Des Bryant out, he waits on the Andy Lee punt. And
Play a game.
we're going to give Lee a little more room to work with.
5-yard penalty. Remain 4th down.
Lee's got a good leg, and sometimes you'll do this because you don't want him to out-kick his coverage. You don't want him to kick it and just roll into the end zone. But usually you don't do it this far back. Boy, they've caught the Cowboys in the switch. The officials weren't ready for that one. They okey-doked the Cowboys and the officials on that one. Ron Winter's not going to like it. Yeah, he's explaining now, guys, that was cute, but you can't do this.
There is no snap on the play. The defense is entitled to match up.
Yeah, that was, I don't know whether they thought they might be doing something special there, something tricky. But all of a sudden now, special teams coaches, you got Brad Seeley on the right, Joe DeCamillis on the left, 2 of the best in the National Football League.
'49ers put certainly a point on special teams, highlighting special last week. This punt will go into the end zone. 56-yard boot, 4:43 to play in the opening quarter. We're scoreless. Good news for Cowboys fans. Felix Jones patched up, and he's back in the game.
Yeah, Brad Seeley arguing his point. He was trying to catch him in something, but I think Brad's wrong here. You do have to let, or the defense does have the right to match up your new substitute.
They don't waste any time getting Jones right in the middle of the action. No gain.
I mentioned the two special teams coach, and they're outstanding. You know, these guys have a tough job. Joe D. Camillus there. Think about it now. Other than the kickers and maybe the 52nd and 53rd man on your roster, nobody wants to work with you because they really don't want to be on special teams. They really don't. You have to be energized. You have to see talent in players that go beyond their specific position, and these two are the best at it.
Call it a gain of 2. Blitz coming to get it away, and it's jarred loose. What a hit made by Carlos Rogers on Jason Witten.
Wow, and that's one that you'd love to have back, not because of the incompletion, but you know, we've already talked about Jason Witten is his go-to guy. That's a rib shot there. You hate to throw a player into that kind of hit because he comes back and looks at you a little cross-eyed like, you didn't see that guy coming up? You couldn't have put it someplace else?
3rd and 8. Boston, the intended target. He tried to cut back to the sideline, but Terrell Brown right there with him. So this time it's 3 and out for the Cowboys.
Yeah, the 49ers ought to win the field position turnaround on this one. That's an excellent follow-up series for this defense that just got gashed the series before, and now they're in a 3 and out. Nice win for the 49er defense.
Of course, Ted Ginn Jr., first 49er ever to return both a punt and a kick for touchdowns, coming within 59 seconds on the clock of one another. And Ginn will field in the 25. Covered beautifully by Dallas. That's their starting linebacker, Sean Lee, getting down the field.
Job by starting inside linebacker Sean Lee, keeping leverage on Ted Ginn. This is big, and this goes back to what I was just talking about. Joe D. Camillus going to a starter saying, hey, I still need you on special teams, even though you're a starter on defense. You got to sell it a little bit.
Alex Smith hit on 3 out of 5 for 30 yards on the Niners' first possession. Easy throw to Ginn, still on his feet, and that'll be a gain of 8. You know, getting back to the special teams thing for a minute, I want to ask you, you were the boss, Super Bowl winning head coach, and you look at another special teams performer for Dallas when he's healthy and playing well is Dez Bryant. You know how important he is to your offense, but he returned 2 punts for you for touchdowns last year. What do you do in that situation?
You know, that's a huge asset to take off the field in special teams, but if I've got a guy that so far young in his career has some injury issues, it's tough, but I don't think I put him on. I don't think I put him on special teams.
Just short. Put it down in a yard. Some of the numbers earlier. What a big bounce back win for New Orleans, routing Chicago at the Superdome. Green Bay comes back late to beat Cam Newton. How about the Redskins 2-0?
Explain this one to me, man. Goodness gracious. I have no clue about what wins in this league. Don't ask me to handicap games because that's above my pay grade.
Buffalo rallies late to beat Oakland. That was a wild game. 3rd in the yard. First down. That's just power football. And the difference really perhaps in philosophy. Dallas down on the 4-yard line, 3rd in the yard. They throw a fade into the end zone. incomplete before the missed field goal. Niners 3rd in the yard. They're handing it off.
Yeah, and you go back and watch this shifting. All the shifting that San Francisco is doing, and they're moving around. I think they're trying to calm down the movement of the Dallas Cowboy defense. Not necessarily confuse them, but they're going to take the initiative in terms of this shifting. I like what Jim Harbaugh is doing with this.
San Francisco.
Well, they're bringing in an extra offensive tackle. Number 75, Alex Boone. Take a look ahead. Next week, the NFL on Fox. Giants and the Eagles. Some will see these 49ers in Cincinnati. Others, the Lions, off to a good start at 2-0. Will take on the Vikings. We will see the Falcons and the Buccaneers. America's Game of the Week will feature the Packers and the Bears. Looking forward to that NFC South clash. Tampa Bay rallying to get a much-needed win.
That's a good football team. We had them a bunch last year. This is going to be a very interesting division, the NFC South we're talking about. It's going to be fun to do that game next week. We got a good one here, though. Let's finish this one off first. What do you say?
You got a deal.
False start. Offense number 21. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Yeah, I like what the 49ers are doing. We talked about it before the break. They're trying to calm down all the things Rob Ryan is trying to do defensively with the shifts, the motions. But you got to be careful. Now, all of a sudden, you backed yourself up. You've got to be very precise with that. We're in week 2 after a very unique offseason. We'll see if the 49ers can keep this up without shooting themselves in the foot.
Rob Ryan brought in from Cleveland, first-year defensive coordinator. There's a twin brother as Rex Ryan. They met last week in the Meadowlands. The shovel pass to Gore. And he's up to midfield. Well, they're about 4 yards shy of a first down.
Boy, this is the veteran Frank Gore. He knows part of my job, I got to scan and take care of my quarterback. If I take care of him, he'll take care of me. That's exactly what, I don't know that it was designed this way. Alex Smith, you know, he's a pretty smart guy. He knows, let's see, me run it or Frank Gore run it? How about I give it to you?
Under a minute to play in the opening quarter. They give it to Gore. And he's still on his feet, met by Keith Brooking. We'll see depending on the spot, but let's quickly send it back to Los Angeles and check in with Kurt Menefee.
Well, you were wondering how Tennessee beat Baltimore. Well, they rode the arm of Matt Hasselbeck. 358 yards passing by Hasselbeck. 33rd quarterback in league history to go over the 30,000 mark, and that's how they rolled over the Ravens. Coach and Tom.
I give it up. You know, this is way above my pay grade. I'm glad I'm up here in the booth. Of course, now I got to try to explain it all week long. So that's going to be an interesting tape to look at.
Well, a timeout down on the field just to measure to see whether or not Gore's carry was enough for a first down. Nope. So now we're coming up on another 3rd and a yard. And we made reference to it earlier. You know, Jim Harbaugh is a no-nonsense, tough guy football coach.
He's a Michigan guy.
Is he sending a message to his team on 3rd and short? We're going to go right after these guys instead of fooling around with throwing the ball 15 yards down the field.
Absolutely, absolutely. But at some point, there's an advantage to be gained, and they know that's the mentality of Jim Harbaugh. You put up enough people in this box, there's some big gains to be made on 3rd and 1 as well. I would be shocked if they threw the ball here.
Anthony Dixon has replaced Frank Gore in the backfield.
Bigger back in the backfield.
First down. That's just old-fashioned line-em-up, helmet on a helmet.
You and I talked about this offensive line. This offensive line for the 49ers is a great one.
It's the end of the first quarter. San Francisco on the move, and Fox NFL Sunday continues after this.
Well, Tom, going into the break, I said the 49ers have a great offensive line. I meant to say they have potentially a great offensive line. I like the look of this offensive line. You're talking about 3 first-round draft choices in Staley, Yapati, and Davis, a second-rounder in Ray Shell, and a good free agent pickup, Super Bowl winning center in Goodwin.
Yep.
This is a good offensive line that has a chance to stay together for a while.
7th play of this drive. They fake it one way, and Smith is dropped all the way back to the 45-yard line.
And right on cue, that offensive line just gets overwhelmed. Now, this was a quick screen, and the idea is to be a little passive, but I don't know that you can be this passive. They just stormed the gates, got caught off track here, and that's tough on a quick. He's right now going, that can't be the way that was designed. You turn your back to it, you're expecting at least to be able to backpedal and drift the ball out. Spencer doing a great job of surprising Alex Smith up the middle.
Look like they got a pretty good spot there, perhaps based on where they initially had him in the grasp. So Gore on a 2nd down, and 19 gets about half of it back.
Right here, you had the matchup you wanted. I love DeMarcus Ware, but I don't think I want him one-on-one with DeMarcus Ware. But in this instance, it worked. Why? Because you put pressure on the quarterback, and he had no chance to even look at it.
49ers did not allow a sack in 20 passing attempts last week. 3rd down. Play clock down to 3, and they called it. Well, it looked like he motioned timeout. He did not. And they just did get it off. And there's Ted Ginn Jr. for a San Francisco 1st down. Jason Hatcher delivered a big hit on Smith, but he delivered the ball.
Well, you're going to see pressure coming in here late, and pressure late means it's one-on-one. They've gone to Ginn twice now. Yeah, you can go to the outside when it's one-on-one, but Ted Ginn on the inside against Alan Ball, we can tell early, is a matchup they like. You like this guy on kickoff returns and punt returns, put the ball in his hands in behind 8 guys and see what he does now. It could get exciting.
Put it away to Gore, looking for a running room, and none there. 2nd quarter here just underway. Some of the early game headliners. How about Cam Newton?
Wow.
His first 2 games, he's on pace to throw for over 6,600 yards this year. But they're 0-2.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm sleeping okay at 0-2 if that's possible, if I'm Ron Rivera. What that tells me about Cam Newton, and that's a lot. 2 games in the season, this isn't too big for him. That's impressive, no matter how you cut it.
Well, all those players you just saw, they had big individual games. Their teams lost. Through the hands of Smith. Athletic enough to get it. Throw down the field. And nearly batted for a touchdown, and a flag comes in.
Yeah, Rob Ryan, you know what? I'm not quite sure that was the way that play was drawn up for the 49ers. And when you now leave a team 1st and goal on the 1-yard line because of that.
Defense number 56. Because the foul occurred in the end zone. The ball in place at the 1-yard line. 1st down.
That's the athleticism. You can see here the ball down the field. He's lost sight of where the ball is. He doesn't know where he is. It's almost like he was just trying to catch himself going down.
Number 75 is reporting out.
This is just athleticism on the part of Alex Smith. This is what we were talking about Jim Harbaugh wanted to tap into a little bit. Again, remember how athletic and how this guy won in college at Utah under Urban Meyer's offense. Just that type of play.
Play fake it on 1st and goal from the 1, and Smith will lose yards. Good coverage in the back of the end zone. They had an eye on Vernon Davis.
You know, this is a little like the play we talked about, the play fake that then you try to get sneak the man out after the play fake. We've seen time and again now Jim Harbaugh, true to his word, he told us he wanted to get Alex Smith outside the pocket more and more and tap into that athleticism. Jim Harbaugh through Greg Roman. Greg Roman's the offensive coordinator. The calls come through a Jim Harbaugh. He relays it. He's the guy in the ear of Alex Smith. And Alex Smith is loving a 16-year veteran being the guy that's talking to him on every single play. They got the big group in. This looks like clearly a run formation.
Gore nearly fell down and finds the end zone.
Now, just simple as a screwdriver, man. Downhill, I'll even spot you a slip. Frank Gore, the thing you love about Frank Gore, you are always going to get positive yards. It may not be a big play. Of course, scoring play is pretty big. But as a play caller, you love him because you know he's never going to put you in a long down and distance because he's always going to somehow get yardage.
Well, the always animated Rob Ryan. Quite vocal on the sideline in the year of the head coach Jason Garrett. Very impressive start for the 49ers.
Cadillac. By Triple Hops Brewed Miller Lite, taste greatness. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Frank Gore gets San Francisco on the board. 7-0 lead just minutes into the second quarter. Well, what a very impressive drive. Last week we mentioned the 49ers were 1 for 12 on third down. On that drive alone, they were 3 for 3 on third down. McCann will take a knee. So Romo and the Cowboys will try and answer when we return to Candlestick Park. In our 3 years together, Brian Billick, you talk about third down all the time. What a difference so far.
Yeah, and the 1 for 12 last week is a bit of a misnomer because of the nature of the third downs, but this has obviously been key for them in this first half, converting on third down.
Romo to throw it on first down. Incomplete. He had an eye on Miles Austin. Looked like he heard footsteps a little bit right there.
Tom, I always talk about the emotional ebb and flow of the game. The 49ers answered. Here you can see it looks like Romo having to get the ball out of his hands before he was maybe ready. Obviously, no, that's just one of those things. You know, Miles Austin is one that's going to come up with that catch more often than not. But the point I was making earlier, Dallas needs to emotionally respond here. San Francisco emotioned to the long drive by Dallas. Dallas has to respond to what's happened here in the last half a quarter.
Second down at 10 and no running room for Felix Jones. Well, so much has been made, Brian, the last number of years for Dallas. Becoming a pass-first and a heavily pass-first team rather than establishing the running game. Now, you're going up against the Jets last week, one of the best defenses in the NFL. They did not run it well, but especially late in the game when they were trying to chew up the clock.
Yeah, and as we talked about earlier, this is a smallish 49er team. I'm a little surprised Dallas hasn't pressed the run a little bit more because they have the bigger offensive line to the smallest 49er front seven.
Romo just does get it away incomplete. So Romo started the game 5 out of 6. He's 0 for his last 5, and he's getting up slowly after a big hit by Carlos Rogers.
Well, you're going to see pressure coming off the edge here. He doesn't realize he's a man short. That's a clean hit, clearly. It's those blind side hits that always shock a quarterback. I don't know if he's hurt as much as he is shocked.
Ted Ginn Jr. a chance to return. There's a lot of daylight in front of him. Ginn still on his feet. You can see him protecting that football. And this 49ers drive will start in Dallas territory.
Sponsored by Chevrolet and their award-winning cars, trucks, and crossovers.
And Jim Tomasula, he was one of the holdovers from the previous staff. This is excellent defensive line coach. He's got his group playing well because without a whole lot of pressures, although they have brought a few, they're putting good pressure on Tony Romo with just 4- and 5-man looks.
.10:46 to play, second quarter. With Laura Oakman, Brian Billick, I'm Tom Brenneman, our entire NFL on Fox crew. Glad to have you with us. Hope you've had a great weekend. Niners will start it on the ground, and Sean Lee is right there along with Anthony Spencer. A loss of a yard. Let's send it back to Kurt Menefee for a game break.
Texas's other team off to a good start in Miami after the defense picked off Chad Henne. The offense made it pay. Matt Schaub hooking up with Owen Daniels for the score. It's 13-3 right now. Texans on top of the Dolphins. Tom and Brian.
You like that Houston Texans team?
Yeah, and particularly if they can get a win on the road, get themselves going a little bit, this is going to be a dangerous team, and obviously in a division that's in great flux.
Second down, Thor slips the tackle when Lee runs him out of bounds. Broke the tackle of Jenkins. No Braylon Edwards on the field. Laura Oakman, what's going on with him?
Well, we saw that nice touchdown drive. He wasn't on the field. He was in the locker room getting x-rays on his right knee. He's back out on the bench. His return questionable.
All right, Laura, thank you so much. Of course, he came over after spending the last 2 years with the Jets. Very talented young man, has had some off-the-field issues and hoping to resurrect his career with the 49ers. They have not had a 1,000-yard receiver since 2003. Good protection. And another third down conversion. This time with Joshua Morgan.
You know, it's just a nice route. You're going to see Morgan in here, just turn it outside. This is a heck of a throw. That is a long throw for a quarterback, trust me, particularly having to step up in the pocket. Nice third down conversion. You know, you take Braylon Edwards out of the game plan. You take Michael Crabtree out of the game plan. 49ers are getting tested here, and you got to love what Alex Smith is doing so far, and he doesn't have all hands on deck.
Brooking able to wrap up Gore after a 4-yard gain. Well, you think about everything he's been through, injuries, in and out of the lineup, but how about this? 7 different offensive coordinators since he got here 7 years ago.
Yeah, that's a lot of voices. You're right up there with Sybil when you're thinking about what this guy's had to deal with. And now another system with another voice. And Jim Harbaugh made the point. These are good coaches. Don't get us wrong. They are competent coaches, but that's just a lot of them. You got to get into a rhythm. You got to get into a routine. Hopefully Alex Smith can do that with Jim Harbaugh at the helm.
Pitch it to Gore. Gain of 1.
DeMarcus Ware on the outside here. One of the things when you got a great pass rusher like that, too often it's okay, let's run at him because he's not going to be good. Let's run at him. Well, you run at DeMarcus Ware. Look at him fight off 2 double teams there. If you're gobbling up 2 defenders, somebody else has got to be free. That's a nice job by a premier pass rusher that also plays the run.
5 straight Pro Bowls, more sacks than anybody in the league since he came into the league in 2005. And a timeout with a play clock down to 4.
Timeout. 32nd.
Now, you know, Alex Smith, in coming back to the 49ers, Tom, this was a bit of a risk on Jim Harbaugh's part. And in fact, frankly, I was a little surprised Alex came back. There's a lot of history here. And you knew that he was going to be on a short leash. I mean, it darn near was going to be a choke chain. Because the minute he showed up badly, you know what the fans were going to do. So it was a leap of faith on his part. When we asked him about it, in sitting down and visiting with him, he talked about, well, look, the offseason and the collective bargaining agreement and no free agency, that affected me a little bit. So obviously that's a factor. But here you can see, obviously, that Alex Smith, he's developed a relationship with Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh is constantly coaching him. He's tapping into that look. I may not have been good, and he was, but I did this for 16 years. You've had a lot of voices in your head. We already talked about that. Listen to me. We'll work together. We'll smooth out your mechanics, and we'll get this thing done together. So Jim Harbaugh, the easy thing would have been said, hey, I didn't draft this guy. Give me somebody else. So he put himself out there a little bit, bringing Alex Smith back in.
Third down and 4. They're going to roll Smith out. That's a nice play call and another first down, this time to Morgan. Putting him in situations to make a play.
Well, this is the old 49er sprint right, H or Z option. And it's simple as that. You put a guy in behind it. We talk about Alex Smith getting outside the perimeter of the defense again. Joshua Morgan's an interesting guy. He's someone we saw a couple years ago, Tom, that you thought he had something about him, then he had to deal with some injuries. He got sick and lost weight. Now he has to be the guy with Crabtree and Braylon Edwards not 100%.
Gore plows forward down to the 12-yard line. The 49ers have converted their last 5 third downs.
And we talked with offensive coordinator Greg Roman about the 1 of 12 the previous week, and he wasn't making excuses. He simply talked about, look, we were in control of the game. We had some odd down and distances on third down, that because we were in control of the game, we ran the ball a little bit more on third down than you normally would. He had confidence in the third down package, and Alex Smith's ability. Greg worked for me in Baltimore. Excellent young coach in this league.
Second and 6. Catch it should have been made by Ginn and wasn't. It's one of the few mistakes the 49ers have made over now 2 consecutive drives.
We have got to see Vernon Davis show up here at some point. This is one of really the most gifted tight ends in the league. Alex Smith knows that. He has not been part of the game plan yet. Part of it may be that Dallas knows he's talented, and we're not going to let you get to him. But particularly down into here, no Crabtree, no Braylon Edwards. If I'm going to throw the ball, I might try to get it to Vernon Davis. Right there. Let's see what he does.
Blitz coming to the corner. And a touchdown to Kyle Williams.
He's got the catch. He's got the left foot. He's got the right foot. Touchdown 49ers. Now don't let go of it, son. Don't let go of it. You got yourself a touchdown. Nice job.
Only his second career catch. His first career touchdown. And of course, after every scoring play in the NFL this year, it automatically goes under review just to make sure.
And make sure we're clear on this. It means they're going to determine if it needs to be reviewed. This one looks pretty clear cut. Catch, left foot, right foot. You got to maintain contact. He's not going anywhere with that ball. That's a catch in anybody's book.
Now the point after. The San Francisco 49ers have the play confirmed that that's a touchdown.
Yeah, you can see just here, this is just nothing more than your favorite route in football, Tom, the fade route. I know you hate that route, but when it works, boy, it's a sweet thing to watch.
14-0. 49ers quite a surprise through a quarter and a half. First return for Brian McCann today. And a good return out across the 25-yard line.
I want to go back. Let's go back to this play, because I tell you what, now we got to give the officials some props. We've seen this. This is obviously a great catch by Williams. But I want you to watch this official right here. Watch his eyes, and I want you to watch the continuation. Yeah, he sees the catch. He sees the left foot. He sees the right foot. But watch him track this. Stop it right there. Look at those eyes. He's lasered vision. Why? Because there has to be the continuation. Nice job. Mike Pereira would be proud of his crews.
Off on first down. And up to the 31-yard line is Felix Jones. Right around the corner, the American League's best will look to their brightest stars. Who will lead their team to the Fall Classic? Legends born in October. And our exclusive coverage of the American League Championship Series begins October the 8th. Only on Fox. Of course, the defending world champion Giants are trying to rally late in the year and get back to the postseason. Never saw it coming. Hit Carlos Rogers right in the face. It's one thing to use your head.
Yeah, that's it. He's smiling about it. He knows he's going to get some grief about that in the film tomorrow. Keep your eyes up. But that's why he's a DB. If he's a receiver, he'd be on the other side of the field.
It's a big, big momentum play for the Cowboys.
Yeah, this is where Tony Romo's got to step up and make a play. The Cowboys need an emotional boost with the third down conversion here.
Nowhere near the intended receiver. Romo is 0 for his last 7.
They're just not in sync. He expected Miles Austin to go vertical. Remember, that was the issue at the end of the game last week, where he saw it a little bit differently than Dez Bryant. He thought Miles Austin was going to go vertical. You can see he's going, no, look, go deeper. When the corner has that kind of alignment, they're just not on the same page, and that's part of the reason they're punting right now.
Again, up to the 30. All right, Brian Billick, let's go back to your offensive coordinator days. If you have the miscommunication and Tony Romo comes back over to the Dallas sideline, what begins to happen now? Take us down on the sideline.
Right now, you got to break it down. The question, and it's a hard question, you ask the quarterback and the receiver, what did you see? What was the adjustment? Did we see it the same way? And is that why there was a breakdown? Or did you not understand that if the DB did this, you were going to do that? Now they're going to sit and look at the pictures here and say, look, this is what happened. Somebody was clearly wrong or just saw it differently. They're just not on the same page right now.
Should Miles Austin be standing there in that meeting?
Well, at some point, the quarterback and the quarterback coach are going to say, okay, this is what we thought. Let's first find out if you and I are wrong. And if we are, then, or not rather, now we'll go to Miles Austin and see what he doesn't get about what we just did.
Gain of a yard by Gore. Let's send it back to Los Angeles to Kurt Menefee.
San Diego at New England, down 10-7. Chargers go for it on 4th and goal. Mike Tolbert, not even close. He stopped. They turn it over on downs, and the Chargers still in a 3-point hole. Patriots hanging on. Tom and Brian.
Tough to win on the road, man. I've always said, winning on the road in the NFL, for my money, is one of the toughest things to do in all of team sports. Eventually, that's going to be the mark of any good team. Can you do it on the road?
Blitz coming. And Smith is dropped by Jason Hatchett. After starting to get more and more playing time the last couple of weeks than he did last season, and for that matter, his first 4 years, and he's playing well.
Well, Rob Ryan, they're just going to come off the outside here. Look, you got a lot of folks in here coming off this edge. They're not backing off at all, folks. Look at how many people they're bringing on the rush. It's just more people than you can block. Rob Ryan, even though his defense is getting gashed a little bit here, he's not backing off at all. He's going to live by the sword or die by the sword.
So a 3rd and 19, closing in on 4 minutes until halftime. And a timeout called by Smith. I was starting to ask you, you're feeling good about yourself. You're up 14-0. It clearly would be out of the, MO, if you will, of Jim Harbaugh in this offense. But you think about slinging it around on 3rd and long here. We'll get to that in a minute. This November, Fox Sports brings you an epic UFC heavyweight title fight. The #1 ranked contender, Juniors Dos Santos, squares off with undefeated world champion Cain Velasquez. That's this Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 Pacific. And you can hear from both fighters as Jake Glazier interviews them live on Facebook.com/Fox Sports.
Well, to answer your question, Tom, Jim Harbaugh is telling Alex Smith right here, and he's a smart young man, not that you need to tell him, look, we're in control of this game. This is not the place for heroics, all right? There's old quarterbacks and there's bold quarterbacks, but there's no old, bold quarterbacks. It's the saying. This is not a situation to where you just drop the ball off. A lot of 3rd and longs can be dropped off. This is where you got to rely on the intelligence of your quarterback not to leave a team that's up at risk.
They just hand it off. On 3rd and 19. Ratliff there to wrap up Gore, and the 49ers will let some clock burn as we're down to 3:45. And the strong-legged Andy Lee coming out.
Now the Dallas defense has done their job. Not only did they back them up, they should get a good exchange in field position here. Again, ebb and flow of this game emotionally. Tony Romo, we know he's a competent quarterback, a good quarterback. He wants to show that he's a championship caliber quarterback. On the road, he's got to do something with this offense with 3 minutes and 22 seconds on the clock.
Boy, what a punt by Lee. Driving Dwayne Harris all the way back, and a pretty good return by Harris up to the 28-yard line.
I see why they backed Lee up earlier in the game. That guy can boom it. That is a subtle play that can be a game changer for you, because the Cowboys were about to get great field position.
Well, Tony Romo started off red hot, that incompletion, but then a lot of pressure. He's missed on his last 7 passing attempts. This is a big drive. I know we have an entire second half to go, but you brought up earlier, they've just not been on the same page.
Well, and Vic Fangio told his troops, look, Tony's going to throw it to us at some point. Are you going to be ready when he does?
Crossing pattern to Austin, and that's the first down to the 41. The missed field goal after the lengthy opening drive of the game from 21 yards out. It's been 3 and out ever since.
And that's an emotional response. 14 plays, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. You got to give the 49er defense and Vic Fangio, their defensive coordinator, a great deal of credit for regrouping and answering the call.
Gain of 12. And out of the backfield, it's incomplete to Jones. They had Sopoaga in coverage there on Jones.
Well, we talked about it at the open, Tom. The 49ers have got to be creative, and Jason Garrett knows that, because they just don't have the individual matchups to win across the board. And Vic Fangio has done a nice job. Right here, you got to be a little careful. You can't get too cute. I know Tony Romo's not really in rhythm right now, but all it takes is one really good play. They look a little passive in the secondary here. It looks like they're going to just kind of go with a 4-man rush, see if Romo can make a play.
Gain of a yard on a catch by Austin.
The Coming into the game now, you know, the Dallas Cowboys are the Dallas Cowboys. They're a talented team. A lot of people coming in had to think, you know what, they're going to regroup here. We don't know about the 49ers. They played a weak Seattle team. They got barely 200 yards. But the way you look at it here, Jim Harbaugh could not have drawn this up better. So far now, we still have 2 minutes to go for his 49ers to give him confidence, this team having confidence going in at halftime.
Should have been intercepted. And Romo thrice right into the teeth of double coverage with an eye on Ogletree. And that is 5 consecutive failed third down tries for Dallas. There is a flag.
Defense number 55 lined up in the neutral zone.
They'll get another chance.
5-yard penalty. Repeat third down.
All right. So they get a break by lining up. So we've reached a 2-minute warning and a break for Jason Garrett to give him one more chance.
Well, my lines aren't official here, but boy, this looks awful close. This has given the Cowboys a much-needed another opportunity on third down, saying that he violated the neutral zone. You can't break the plane of the center.
That's Ahmad Brooks. So a failed 3rd and 9 becomes now a 3rd and 4. Just under 2 minutes. Defender fell down, and Austin across the 20 to the end zone. How about that for taking advantage of the penalty? "53-yard scoring strike."
Right here in the slot, clears it out. Then in behind it, you can see Miles Austin. That clearing out in the slot is what opened up the angle to Miles Austin. It was unfortunate, but Trumaine Brock fell coming out of the break. Great emotional surge for the Cowboys. And that's why, after a penalty like that, you got him off the field. Watch this. This is what I'm talking about. Romo sees right now what's happening. Get this ball out of my hand fast. He knows what can happen if he gets the ball into his hands of his great receiver quickly. Boy, this is why coaches get old and gray and end up in booths like me, because I tell you what, to have a team off the field on third down and on a call like that, I assume the man was offside. You work hard to get a team off the field on third down. They get another opportunity. You never know how it's going to affect the game. Now a game, we just talked about it. This was totally the 49ers game. The Cowboys have just jerked the emotion right back into their locker room. '49ers do the same thing now. We just talked about looking at tape on the Cowboys side. What went wrong? Well, the same way. That's a tough one, because what do you tell the player? Hey, don't fall down.
Right.
You know, it's one of those things where it's not like I did it on purpose, coach, but you bring pressure on a third down. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
Well, 14-7. Beeler hammers that one into the end zone. Well, let's check in with Kurt Menefee with what's going on with the Visa halftime report. Kurt.
Thanks, guys. Coming up on the Visa halftime report, we'll have scores and highlights from a big week 2 in the NFL, including a couple of great finishes in Minnesota, Washington, and Buffalo. And these guys will keep pretending they're working. That's coming up on the Visa halftime.
All right, Kurt, thank you. Big scoring strike from Romo to Austin to make it a 14-7 Niners lead.
Let's see how aggressive Jim Harbaugh wants to be with his quarterback, Alex Smith, with minute 48 left on the clock.
And 0 timeouts. Davis breaks out of a couple of tackles, and that's good enough for a first down after the 31. Again, a reminder, San Francisco without a timeout.
And the good thing for Alex Smith, I keep coming back to it. Remember how Alex Smith was weaned in the college game? The spread open of Urban Meyer. He's very comfortable with this. We've had their games in the past. He wanted to stay in this formation and this personnel and this style of play for the entire game in previous years. That's not going to happen under Jim Harbaugh, but he's well equipped to operate this 2 minute.
The blitz coming, they pick it up. Catch by Ginn, but out of bounds. Clock stops with 1:10 to go. 2nd and 10 upcoming.
That was a heck of a catch. And of course, no catch has ever been made in the history of the NFL out of bounds. That was a pretty good catch.
That's really been one of the mysteries for Ted Ginn Jr. coming out of Ohio State, because he's such a gifted receiver. And had some good years in Miami, but not the great years as a receiver. And virtually last year, a lost year.
Yeah, kind of disappears down the field, but certainly he has the athletic ability to impact the game if you can get the ball in his hands.
They're bringing the house, and they run it. Up to the 37-yard line. Clock running right at 1 minute.
Rob Ryan's dialing it up now. He's got people coming in. Ware's right out in here. You're going to see Ware work. He works up. Now he's going to come from the middle of the field right here. He started on the line. He worked off. He worked it deep. They overloaded. You got to be careful when you move around that way. There could have been gashed on that left side. I like the confusion. I like the pressure you want to put on them, but at some point you got to be careful. You still have to have gap integrity even in 2 minutes.
That's a dangerous throw on a 3rd down. Very close to a 1st down catch made by Ginn. Depends on the spot. Clock still running.
Gave him the 1st down.
They're going to run out of time.
Well, they were having him. Yeah, see, he was hoping to get a play up to kill the clock to give you one more shot. But as they're spotting the ball, he just ran out of time. Jim Harbaugh trying to get it done.
The end of the 1st down.
Well, Jim Harbaugh, outside of that final wasted chance to get the Dallas offense off the field, giving them another play that turns into a touchdown, has to feel mighty good about the 1st half. Niners 14, Dallas 7. Fox NFL Sunday continues with the Visa halftime report right after this on Fox. Featuring complete local and national sports coverage, Fox Sports Radio, live scores, video, and so much more. Get the #1 sports app in America for free on iTunes today. Kyle Williams, his 2nd career catch, his 1st career touchdown to put the 49ers up 14-0, but then Miles Austin answered on a 2nd chance following a failed 3rd down. A penalty kept the drive alive, and Austin raced 53 yards off the Romo pass to bring Dallas within 7. So the Niners going to get the football, and they'll get it at the 20. Back with the coach, Brian Billick. I'm Tom Brenneman. Very entertaining 1st half. Let's don't fool around. We call it nuts and bolts. What are we looking at 2nd half?
Well, for San Francisco, we haven't seen a lot of efficiency out of Tony Romo, so I'm a little nervous about pressuring too much. If I'm Vic Fangio and the San Francisco 49ers, make Romo show that he can get efficient. Don't give him the big play like that brought this game back into closeness. For Dallas, it's simple. I think they got to run the ball. That big play allowed them now to come back out and see if we can take advantage of our size difference, see if we can run the ball a little bit more. I haven't seen a commitment to it yet.
Smith coming out throwing on 1st down. Batted at the line of scrimmage. Let's check in down along the sideline with Laura Oakman.
Well, you guys are talking so much about Tony Romo's efficiency. This is going to help answer that. He's battling a rib injury right now. He suffered that after that blindside hit early in the game. Jason Garrett said he's coming back. He got treatment in the locker room at halftime, but they want to protect him. They want to get the offense moving, try to make some plays on the outside, and also, as Brian said, get the running game going, protect that quarterback and get the offense moving.
All right, Laura, thank you very much. And remember, the Niners won the toss and deferred to getting the football in the 2nd half. And on 2nd down, they give it to Gore. Very short gain. So 3rd and long coming up for the 49ers.
Now, last week, the 49ers were able to manage this game with a small lead that built into a big lead, in no small part due to the special teams. Now that Dallas is within striking distance, Alex Smith's going to have to make some plays down the field, and unfortunately he doesn't have his top couple weapons. Again, I think Vernon Davis should come up big, particularly on this down and distance.
Play clock down to 3. Just to get it off. And Smith wrapped up and dropped, and again it's Jason Hatcher. Second time he's taken down Alex Smith.
Again, look at we got people all over in here. He now is bringing Delaney Walker over here to account for it, but they still don't get it sorted out.
A good start for the Dallas defense. 3 and out. And just now out of the locker room comes Tony Romo. Question is he good to go? On first down. Great coverage by the 49ers at C.J. Spillman. Romo's ready to roll.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By Sprint, all together now. By Lexus, it's time to engineer amazing. And by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Here we go.
When we left, we thought Tony Romo was ready. John Kitna has taken over at quarterback. Kitna saw a lot of playing time last year for Jerry Jones' Cowboys after the injury that knocked out Romo for the year. He got 9 starts. They won 5 of those games. Now, Tony Romo, we showed you on the 4th down punt, that's when he came trotting out of the Cowboys locker room. And this is the hit he took. And you heard from Laura Oakman a moment ago when Carlos Rogers got him from the blind side back in the second quarter. And that entire medical staff in a huddle with Romo.
Yeah, when they have the ball cap on like that and your offense is on the field, that's not a good indicator.
Why you have veteran guys like Kitna in a backup role, they can win you games. Drops it off to Whitman. That's a first down up to the 38-yard line. Now, Kitna had a nice year last year. We told you that, he played in 10 games. He got 9 starts after Romo broke his collarbone. He hit on 66% of his passes for nearly 2,400 yards. And now Romo will leave the bench and go back into the Dallas locker room.
Yeah, the whole idea of the 46-man roster was to carry 3 quarterbacks on the game day roster. That's not here. That's not happening for Dallas. Kitna's all they got now. They got to make sure they keep him safe.
DeMarco Murray ran by the would-be tackler Ray McDonald and picks up 2.
Now, in an odd sort of way, this may favor the Cowboys. And again, as a coach, I always got to put the right face on it, right? I got to be optimistic. What did we say? They need to run the ball more. Kitna probably didn't get a lot of reps. Why? Because Tony Romo's under attack. He probably took every rep with the first team. Running the ball right now is John Kitna's best friend and may be the best solution to keep them in this game for Jason Garrett.
Kitna steps up and delivers a crossing route to Ogletree. And he's all the way down to the 27. A flag comes in, which may tack on some more. That's going to be, it might be against Dallas. A face mask against the offense was the initial call on the field. And Jason Garrett's like, I don't know the last time I saw that.
Personal foul. Dressed through the face mask. Offense number 85.
Yeah.
15-yard penalty from the dead ball spot.
I think when we see it here, you're going to see Ogletree. Look at that right there. Right here. When you jerk the face mask up like that, he holds onto it going down. Look at the way the face mask is up in the air. That's going to get called every time. He just is going to come across the field here in behind. It gets cleared out. Nice throw by Kitna. Now he reaches right up, and nope, you move the face mask like that, it deservedly is going to get called. You don't see it on an offensive player very often.
That takes away a 33-yard gain. Kitna. Well, right on target. That'll be a gain of 7. Again to the tight end, Whit. Kitna's had a nice career. Well, you're talking about a guy that's been hanging around since 1997, was a starter in Seattle, moved on to Cincinnati, had 3 real nice years there. Starter in Detroit for a couple of years. He's thrown for nearly 30,000 career yards.
Well, what on a football field has John Kitna not seen? That's a real comfort zone for a coach.
Felix Jones picks up the first down, or I beg your pardon, DeMarco Murray inside the 30 down to the 28.
Well, and we talked earlier about how the Cowboys probably need to run more, an undersized 49er defense, and that's not apparent early in the game. That's one of those things where you can wear down a smaller front. Like I told you earlier, Sopoaga is the only one over 300 pounds in that front 7. As the game wears on, they could wear down the 49ers if they choose to take that approach.
Wow. Intercepted in the end zone, right into the hands of Dante Whitner, and he'll finally take a knee. A mistake by Kitna. And a big drive stalls for Jones and the Cowboys. Gift-wrapped interception for Dante Whitner. Kitna in relief of Tony Romo. That's the kind of play, Brian Billick, you're watching as a fan at home and you're saying, how does that happen? So you tell me what was going on here in a minute. First down to the 20. And Gore, a short gain, runs into Coleman.
Well, let's look at it. And this was clearly, we talked about Kitna probably not playing a lot during the season. Right here, we're going to take it. I want you to stop right here. The middle of the field is open. That's a term that says if the middle of the field is open and too deep, you take it. If it's single high safety and there's a free safety there, then you break it down. Well, Jason Witten, for some reason, thought he needed to break it down. Kitna thought it was open and that he was going to go down the middle of the field. They just saw it 2 different ways.
Smith. Had a wide open receiver, Delaney Walker, and just overthrew it. If the 49ers are going to win this game, those are plays Alex Smith has to make in the second half.
Yeah, and this is a tough one for a quarterback when you're under duress. As hard as it is to do, you need to kind of little air out when you let go of the ball because you're so amped up. You know you're about to get run down, and then the ball comes out flat and hard like that. Jim Harbaugh obviously knows in all the years that he played, those are the little things, the footwork, the mechanics of the quarterback that he's got to help him with.
Second possession of the second half for the 49ers. They went 3 and out the first time. It's 3rd and 8 this time. Right into the hands of Alan Ball. So this time the Cowboys force the issue.
This just looks like an ill-advised throw. It looked like he should have led it further to the outside. It's what's called a switch route. You can see a quick clear out. Looked like maybe it was Vernon Davis that was supposed to go to the outside. Looks like Alex Smith, maybe because he was under duress previously, felt like he had to get the ball out quicker, and that's what he's telling Jim Harbaugh right now, because Jim Harbaugh is doing, as I said, what did you see? Why did you throw it there?
Hold on, 2.
DeMarco Murray again in at running back. We saw Felix Jones injured
Yellow.
back in the first quarter, and they hand it to Murray. And the former Oklahoma Sooner looking for some daylight. Positive yardage. Gain of 3.
Yeah, and we're going to see it right here. Let's go back to the play. You're going to see Vernon Davis right here. This is the guy that ends up taking the ball, but watch what happens. Vernon Davis turns out, stop right there. It gets cleared out. It looks like he should have let him further out into here and let his receiver, for some reason, he thought Davis was going to sit down, but everything about that coverage looked like it needed to be thrown to the outside.
Goodman replacing the injured Romo. Just threw it away.
That was actually a nice pickup by the backfield of the Dallas Cowboys. Again, as I said earlier, San Francisco 49ers bringing pressure, but they're not doing it with a lot of bodies. They're changing up the front a little bit. They're not right now, having gotten burnt at the end of the first half, willing to bring a whole lot of people. They want to get bracket coverage and only bring maybe 4 or 5 guys, not many more than that. Let's see what they do here.
DeMarco Murray out, Tashard Choice in. First down on the completed pass to Austin to the 7.
Now that's going to the other extreme, only a 3-man rush. And the lack of efficiency we saw in Romo in the first half. John Kitna, the veteran right here, he knows it's only a 3-man rush. He knows he's going to have the time. I'm going to have a bunch of options. If my guys will just sit down in the seams of the zone, I'm going to get a key third down conversion.
Austin 4 catches, 74 yards, 53 of those on the touchdown.
They need to pound this one in. They need to show that they can pound this ball into the end zone.
Choice. Stopped at the line of scrimmage by Bowman. Let's check in again with Laura.
Just to update you on Felix Jones, I know a lot of people wondering why he's not out there. It's still that shoulder he's been nursing since early in the first quarter. They're just watching that and kind of keeping him in the rotation, but seeing how that feels for him.
All right, Laura, thank you. Jones watches. Choice now watches as Fiametta, the fullback, joins DeMarco Murray in the backfield, 2nd and goal.
DeMarco Murray's a big man now. He's almost 230 pounds. I kind of like that big body in here.
They're going to throw it. Touchdown, Dallas. Austin is 2nd of the game.
Great throw.
The interception by Ball leading to the touchdown, and Smith and the 49ers a point away from being knotted up.
Watch the angle on this. This is the veteran leadership of John Kitna. You can't throw this thing any better. If it's a half a foot higher, it's out of the back of the end zone. If it's half a foot lower, it's intercepted. Kitna's older than I am. That's amazing to be out there doing what he's doing.
Come on. I mean, you can't get on the guy that bad for free.
He's
been around a while. He's not anywhere close to where you are. You're getting ready to become a grandpa for crying out loud.
No, well, if he's not my age, then he's a younger brother, not by much.
Point after is good. Clearly, the pendulum has swung. The Cowboys have come back from 14 down to tie it in the 3rd. Get coverage of every NFL game on NFL Mobile. Call ** NFL to get NFL action right on your phone. John Kitna, after throwing an interception in the end zone 2 drives ago, takes advantage of the Smith interception and finds Austin in the end zone to tie the game at 14. Kendall Hunter, the rookie out of Oklahoma State, and he's across midfield to the 49. We have a ball game.
Okay, I want you to watch this. Ted Ginn, who was supposed to get the ball. Kendall Hunter's up here. Now watch Ted Ginn. Watch your Buckeye here, Tom. This is
Better
good.
believe it.
He's saying, follow me, son. Look at this.
It's a football player.
Yes, sir. Big play. That's nice. That's that special teams presence we're talking about.
14-14 game. 6.5 to go in the third quarter. They're coming after Smith. And he's sacked. It's amazing he didn't lose the ball. DeMarcus Ware getting his first sack today, his third of the year.
You better get 2 hats up here. Joe Staley trying to get up on the edge. You better get 2 hats on DeMarcus Ware every single time. Heck of a job by Alex Smith. 9 times out of 10, that ball's coming out. That's a great job there. That's a little big play. That saved a turnover for the 49ers.
All of a sudden, the San Francisco offense, which looked pretty efficient and pretty smooth in the first half, looks a little disjointed. Could that have anything to do with anything that Rob Ryan has done since halftime?
Well, all the movement of the defense, at some point you kind of pull all your tricks out of the bag. We saw the 49ers shifting and moving to calm it down a little bit. They've calmed it down a little bit formationally. They may need to go back to some of that movement to get Rob Ryan. All of a sudden you feel like you've got an overload to one side. Now it's on the other side. They may have to go back to a little of that movement to throw off the Dallas defense and Rob Ryan.
3rd and 12.
Haley.
Davis, but covered nicely and tackled in the open field by Lee. And another 3 and out despite great field position on this drive for the 49ers.
Now the thing we haven't seen, Tom, and we've talked about it, you know me, this game is about explosive plays. Otherwise you're going to bleed to death slowly. Right now you're not seeing a lot of attempt of down the field throws by the 49ers. They've got to manufacture some of these big plays or they're going to get caught in these 5, 6, 7 play punt, 6, 7 play punt, and I don't know that that bodes well for them.
End over end punt, and the fair catch made by Harris at the 9. In the back of the end zone on the throw from Joe Montana.
That is right. How about that? Epic.
Well, since then, it's been a little bit different for these two franchises. The playoffs have eluded the 49ers going all the way back to 2002. Dallas, unbelievably, with 1 playoff win in the last 14 years.
And that's been the challenge for them. When you're the Dallas Cowboys, that's unacceptable. That's an organizational issue, not just the coach, not just who's playing quarterback. Those are organizational issues that they're trying to correct.
Felix Jones is back into the game. False start there on Dallas. It'll back him up.
Offense number 75. 5-yard penalty to remain second down.
That's Derek Dockery getting his first start as a Cowboy.
And this is something the Cowboys have to fight through because you got the new quarterback in, new cadence, quarterback center exchange, some little things that you kind of take for granted. You can't let that be the thing that disrupts you now.
It's a false start again on Dallas.
Looks like Dockery again, 75.
False start. Offense number 75. Penalized half the distance to the goal. It remains second down.
Dockery been around a long time. A 3rd-round draft pick for the Redskins in 2003. Making his 112th career start today, but his first as a Cowboy.
Yeah, and that a veteran ought not to be doing that. It's not like the noise is a problem. This is not a stadium where typically that is an issue, even down in that end zone. I don't know that that's the issue. It probably has more to do with the cadence of John Kitna, the line calls that are being made by Phil Costa. Goodness gracious.
About a quick count there on a second down and 15.
There's no foul on the play. The ball was snapped prior to the ball being ready for play.
The veteran move there, trying to catch him off guard.
Yeah, it is, and the officials need to be veteran too now. That he needs to get. You can see right here, the officials back here. He's trying to get back out of the way. He's not quite ready, and this is getting his frustration. He says, "Okay, I'm gonna throw it one way or another. Here, you take it."
Felix Jones wrapped up by Navarro Bowman. So third down and plenty for Dallas inside its own 10.
Well, this is like we talked about before, Tom, in the same situation with San Francisco backed up. This is where you got to count on the veteran quarterback Kitna. You want to convert. You desperately want to get a first down and keep the drive alive, but you cannot turn the ball over here. You're going to rely on his veteran experience. And if I'm looking for someone, where's Jason Witten?
He found it.
He's over here on the right side. Again, this is just straight down the field. This is that kind of cover two we talked about, or excuse me, he went down the top of the numbers. This is a harder throw. This shows you the experience of Kitna to come up with that kind of throw with that kind of timing. And he probably didn't attempt this pass once all week long in practice. Big third down conversion for Dallas.
20-yard gain on the catch by Whitten. His fourth catch of the afternoon. Caught it and then lost it.
Looks like he was going to got underneath it. Got it. I don't got it. You know, if I've never been a defensive coordinator, don't claim to be an expert. I might put two guys on Witten every down. You know, if you're going to beat me, you're going to beat me with somebody else other than Jason Witten. How about that?
Well, what a career he has had. Gone to 7 consecutive Pro Bowls. Has caught 94 passes in each of the last 2 years.
Killing the play. Looks like killing you a run.
Choice lunges ahead up to the 35. A third down and 4 coming up.
And every offense in the league has that. He's basically calling 2 plays in the huddle. Typically a pass and a run. If he gets the look that he likes with the pass, he'll leave it on. Jason Garrett will tell him if you get the right number cut. You can see here Vic Fangio now having to make his calls against a different quarterback than he prepared for during the week. That does disrupt you a little bit. What does this guy do well? What do I need to take away from John Kitna, even though I prepared all week for Tony Romo?
Did they get the timeout before the play clock expired? Yes. Let's send it downstairs for more on Tony Romo with Laura Oakland.
Well, his bad week continues. News out of the Cowboys locker room just came out. It's a rib fracture. He is done for the day.
Yeah, and I tell you what, there's a lot of things you can do with rib injuries for a lot of positions. But imagine yourself, I don't know if you're a tennis player or golfer, but the equivalent feeling would be every time you go to make that golf swing, every time you go to hit with that tennis racket, someone takes an ice pick and just shoves it into your chest. That's going to get your attention a little bit. That's too bad to hear for Tony Romo.
Of course, last year the Cowboys started 1-4. Romo broke his left collarbone in a late October game against the Giants. And today a fractured rib on that hit. We're assuming on that hit from Carlos Rada. Third and 5. And it's intercepted on the tip ball by Brock. Still on his feet. He had his first career interception last week. His second here in as many weeks.
I want you to see what the 49er defense did. They okey-doked a little bit. They dropped out and brought the pressure on this side. Now all of a sudden, here's pressure. It's not pressure. It's only a 4-man front. He looks up, and there's a whole bunch of 49er red jerseys to that side. Nice job by the defense. Of course, the tip-up helps. But again, there's an example of you don't have to bring 5 and 6 and 7 people all the time. Just bring the right 4 from the right spot.
Kitten has been intercepted twice since taking over for Romo at halftime. He's also thrown a touchdown. We're now in a 14-14 game. 42 seconds remain in the third. Smith and the Niners from the Dallas 29. They're throwing wide open. Delaney Walker to the end zone. Brian Billick, you said on the Niners' last offensive possession, they needed to start thinking about the home run ball or a bigger play.
That's it. And Jerry Jones knows that that hurts. That was a matchup you don't want. Anthony Spencer on Delaney Walker, one of the niftier tight ends in the league. Delaney Walker is an interesting guy. We've seen him even return kicks out of for being a tight end. They got a great 1-2 punch with Vernon Davis and Walker.
Yeah, Walker be starting for most teams.
Yeah, and we'll come back and show you that at some point, I'm sure, when we come back. The way they aligned it right here, where he's off the edge here, he's going to end up one-on-one. This is a tight end. They're in a run formation right here, and all of a sudden you got a blitz peel and run with a very fast, gifted tight end. That's not exactly how it's drawn up for Anthony Spencer. You don't want to make a living doing that because the outcome's going to be the same. You're counting on the ball coming quick when you put a big defensive lineman, or they call him an outside linebacker. He's a defensive lineman running with Delaney Walker.
Of course, it all started on that third down, a tip ball that wound up in the arms of Tremaine Brock. And then Smith on the very next play to Walker. And the Niners recaptured a lead. Tony Romo is looking for his helmet on the Dallas sideline. How about this? He's coming into the game, it looks like.
Well, I give him credit. They wanted to look at it. The doctors obviously have to clear it. That's a painful injury to throw through. We're going to have to see if he can indeed deal with that pain.
Out of the end zone. Romo came trotting out. He's asking everybody where they put his helmet. They find it in a hurry. And Tony Romo, who left the game with the team at halftime, we did not know at the time that he was hurt. Took that big hit from Carlos Rogers. Did not come out for the second half until the fourth down punt was in the air. It looked like he was going to come back on the field to begin the third quarter.
And both coaches have to account for this. Jason Garrett and his protection scheme to take care of Tony Romo, and Vic Fangio on the San Francisco 49ers side. You know what? I want to get a couple hits on this guy. See if he can hold up.
Felix Jones also playing with an injury. Flag comes down. Jones picks up 3.
Holding. Offense number 68. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
And what I'm talking about here when I'm saying you have to account for Tony Romo's injury in the play calling, whatever your protection schemes are for the game, you got to think a little bit more about 6-man schemes, 7-man schemes, play action pass. You don't want to expose your quarterback that's got sore ribs to some hits. And if I'm Vic Fangio on the other side, I'm going to try to bring, again, I don't have to bring more than 4 or 5 guys, but I'm going to pull whatever I got in my bag of tricks to see if I can get a hit on a quarterback, whether it be a corner blitz or a stunt on the inside to see if I can get a free hit on this guy that's dealing with some sore ribs.
Outstanding defensive play by Whitner. And again, Romo throwing his hands up in the air in disbelief.
I want you to watch right here, just what I'm talking about. An inside rush. I want you to watch the end of the play. That's Aldon Smith, their rookie out of Missouri. This is an outstanding pass rush specialist. Nothing illegal about that. Something as subtle as that. The ability to get in there and get the quarterback to the ground. A guy dealing with a rib injury will pay dividends as the game goes on.
Should be the final play of this third quarter. Stepping right into the hole is Willis. And that will be the end of the third. 21-14 49ers. Fox NFL Sunday continues after a break from your local Fox station. Tony Romo comes out to begin the fourth quarter. He had the fumble at the goal line. And then after a block punt brought the Jets within a score. Game tied late. Romo threw the interception to Revis, which allowed the Jets to win it on a field goal. But Romo's showing a lot of guts here, playing with a broken rib and coming back in from the locker room. 3rd and 18. Choice out of the backfield, well short of the first down. Dallas will punt.
Well, Jason Garrett said that part of the affection he has for Tony Romo, he says he is Burlington, Wisconsin. Meaning, look, for all the persona of Tony Romo and all the things that people one way or the other, this guy is mid-America. He's competitive. He's tough. He's fought his way up. He's an undrafted free agent. There's a lot to like about Tony Romo.
Guinness had another very good day. Not only returning a punt 20 yards, but delivering a big block. And he is wrestled down to the ground by John Phillips. Good field position again for Smith and San Francisco.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. By DirecTV, this season NFL Sunday Ticket is included when you switch. And by Dodge Journey, the search engine for the real world.
(21-14) San Francisco in front. Nearly an entire quarter to go from Candlestick Park. You talked about Romo, and he's 31 years old now. Grew up in Burlington, Wisconsin. Entered the league as an undrafted rookie free agent. Didn't take a single snap for 3 years. Didn't throw a pass for 3 years. Until that 2006 Monday night in the Meadowlands, he replaced Drew Bledsoe at halftime as a starter. And has been there ever since. And ultimately, he's going to be judged on what happens more than likely in the playoffs. He's taken Dallas there 3 times. Has a 1-3 record.
And in fairness, that's not just Tony Romo.
No.
But that's how he's going to be judged. You're exactly right.
Well, he certainly is trying to get back out there to get his team its first win of the year, returning from a broken rib, or a fractured rib at the very minimum. 2-yard gain for Al Gore. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee.
Well, guys, here's something you don't see every day. Not just Phillip Rivers hooking up with Vincent Jackson for a 3-yard score to make it a 14-20 ball game. San Diego edging a little closer, but look at Jackson. He just hands the ball to the official. That's it. No celebration. Hard to believe, Tom and Brian.
Almost as hard to believe as calling Frank Gore Al Gore.
That's a pretty good run for Al Gore. He got 2 yards on it.
That's big Adam Snyder. That's an extra offensive lineman. And Frank Gore to the 40 will bring up 3rd down and 3.
Frank Gore, Al. That's a good run. That's a good. Yeah, I get in behind that offensive line. This is where a Frank Gore shows up. That pod and that big offensive line I talked about. This is where you try to take over a game. And I know we're at 13 minutes and 24 in the 4th quarter, but the physicality that the 49ers want to have. We got a flag here. You know what? They just decided they wanted to throw the flag. Let's see what's going on here. Substitution likely when something like this happens. And Jim Harbaugh is having none of it. I'm betting it's a substitution. Too many guys in the huddle.
You can read his lips. You can't call that.
Illegal formation. Offense. Number 68 did not report as eligible. Number 75 reported as an eligible receiver. 68 lined up in an eligible position.
And we're talking about some of the shifting the 49ers are doing. They're putting extra linemen in. They're unbalancing the line. They're shifting from one side to the other. And when you put a lineman in a tight end position initially, they're saying he did not report because you have to alert the defense that this offensive lineman number, in this instance number 68, is lined up in a tight end position, then allows you to shift. So a lot of moving parts.
Well, I got to tell you, I mean, I don't know if I've seen a coach as upset as Harbaugh is right now about this call.
Yeah, and if there's only one question: did he report or not? And that's the only question here, because it was legal if he reported. They're saying he didn't. It's he said, she said. I've been enough of those. The officials are going to win that one. And there's not a lot of explaining that has to go on here. Either the guy reported or he didn't. Jim's not too fiery, is he?
After the 5-yard penalty for the illegal formation. Repeat 2nd down.
Now move on. That's the tough thing right now. Particularly when you're part of the play calling sequence, your head coach. Your guys got to see you fight for him. That's good. But when you're part of the play calling sequence now you got to change gears and move on. And he knows that.
That's really been the motto of both Harbaugh and Garrett to their quarterbacks. You got to move on.
And you saw that with Alex Smith going, okay, give me the play. Come on, give it to me. And Jim Harbaugh is an excellent head coach, and you got to get control of your emotions. You got to show your players that you care. And when you're part of the play calling sequence, you got to bring it back in real quick.
Spencer wrapping up Frank Gore right at midfield. Loss of a yard. Harbaugh well aware this is a critical, maybe not critical, but a very important drive here for San Francisco. You find a way to put points on the board, and all of a sudden you turn it into a 2-possession game. Now, granted, you've got 12 and a half minutes left, but a big difference between a 1 and a 2-possession game.
It's as important to know that you can play from behind as it is to show that you can play with a lead. And that's part of what this is about right now, in a tight game.
Smith lunging forward, took a shot from Sensabaugh and looks to be a yard short. If that is the case, Brian, do you think about going for it?
Interesting call. You got to think about it. You're outside. You're outside. They just blanket the coverage. Nothing there. You got to think about it because you're outside field goal range. I don't know that a punt does you any good. We might try to draw them off sides. You see that typically here. Get up, shift, move, get a false count going. See if you can get him to jump offside, but you're outside of field goal range here, I believe. No, I guess not. They're going to take a shot.
Baker's career long is 57 yards. This would be from 55 out.
Wow.
Nailed it. You better believe it.
Got a penalty. penalty. Wow, this is going to be huge. Do you take the points off the board? Todd, you just talked about point differential. This is the classic. You never take points off the board. If this is against Dallas, you keep the drive alive.
Number 51 defense.
Wow.
Using his teammates to gain height in an attempt to block the field goal attempt. 15-yard penalty. First down.
You've got your 2-score differential.
Well, Brian, I mean, you have a chance here now. You might take the 3 off the board, but you're talking about a fresh set of downs, more time off the clock.
No question.
Got the ball down at the Dallas after the penalty, what, 34-yard line?
No question.
37.
San Francisco has elected the option.
You can just see on the outside here, you cannot, you can go over the top of the line.
Well, Brian, you asked the question, would you take points off the board? And apparently there, Jim Harbaugh is going to say, I want the 3.
2-score differential. You said it earlier. That's important.
Jim Harbaugh making the decision after the 55-yard field goal by Akers. They'll assess the penalty on the kickoff and keep it a 2-possession game, just as you said, Coach Bill.
Well, the key was, and you said it earlier, Tom, it's get it to that 2-possession game. You said it early in the drive. That's the challenge for the 49ers. Well, they've got that. And that 10-point differential, you can make a case the other way. Don't get me wrong, but this is not the wrong decision by Jim Harbaugh. We'll see at the end of the game whether it was right or not.
Romo and the Cowboys, long way to go, down 10.
Today's game is sponsored by Pizza Hut. Your favorite plays deserve your favorite pizza. Your favorites, your Pizza Hut.
Well, Jason Garrett's Cowboys trailing 24-14, and their starting center Phil Costa out with a knee injury. Kevin Kowalski, who made his NFL debut last week on special teams, was in there at center for the first time. And Ray McDonald drops Romo back at the 14.
This is just a power rush by a big man, Ray McDonald. This is manna from heaven for a defensive coordinator when you can get an inside pass rush like that. And Ray McDonald is showing that he did last week. That inside pass rush, it's the thing the quarterback hates most. Pressure right down the middle, and you didn't even have to blitz to do it.
Ogletree, a first down up to the 32.
Nice throw. Oh, he's coming up lane too. Boy, they're dropping like flies here. And Romo was on the ground after that throw. He has taken some hits. This 49er defense, even though they're not getting home to disrupt the play, it's going to affect them. I want you to watch this late. Clean hit. They run a stun inside. Good throw. He goes down. Innocuous enough. Real easy. The tackle knocked him down, but every time he hits the ground, it has an effect.
53. Luady.
Felix Jones, who was injured very early in this game, carries up to the 36. Still a long way to go, just under 10 minutes.
And I want to go back to the point we're making, Tom. Jim Harbaugh has a philosophy here. You talked about it. He's from the Midwest, from Michigan, hard-nosed. They want to run the ball. Yeah, they want to be explosive, win a lot of games, but they want a certain personality. He is managing that type of game. That's why he didn't take the 3 points off the board. If you're going to win with this type of personality, hard defense, run the ball, tight game, you got to know how to manage a tight game. That's managing a tight game, right or wrong.
Good throw by Romo, and breaking a tackle is Austin. He's down to the 39. Clock still rolling at the 9-minute mark.
And this is part about what Romo talked about in the heat of the battle. You know, John Wooden used to say, play quick, but don't hurry. Romo talked about that. I'm hurrying myself. I know better. In a critical situation, and this is critical, calming your fundamentals down. That's what he's doing right now. He's calming his fundamentals down.
trying to find Phillips. And right alongside of him, Navarro Bowman. Bowman in his first year as a starter. And they're very excited about the way the former Penn State Nittany Lion is coming on.
Yeah, and Patrick Willis has talked about that before, too. He likes having Navarro Bowman with him inside. In the Vic Fangio defense, linebackers cover defensive line. Secondary covers the linebackers. It's a meshing defense, but they cover each other. He likes the relationship he has with Navarro Bowman.
Over.
They just do get it off. 49ers will allow those throws. That's a gain of about 4, but it continues to chew up clock.
Now, this is an area where Jason Garrett, as the head coach and play caller, has got to tell himself. The head coach is telling the play caller, look, this may be 4-down territory. We're at that point of the game. We got 8 minutes, right? We may get into field goal range on the outer edge, but you need to know that on your 3rd down call. If you're going to go for it on 4th down, don't run a 3rd down play and then say, okay, now you can go it on 4th. It is a 2-play sequence when you think in those terms.
Looks like that ball may have been tipped, but Rodgers was right there alongside Witten. Now, it's such a long field goal here. You're looking at 53 yards.
Now they're going for it, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. And I'm not going to argue with the call. Whatever the call is, it is. Some might say, well, if I'm going to go 4 down, let me run on a 3rd down that they typically might not think you do, and then give yourself a 4th down chance. So I'm not going to question the play calling, but clearly that was the sequence. You got to know you're going for it on 4th if you call a 3rd down play in this situation. Again, keep coming back to Jason Witten. But of course, the 49ers know that too. Wow, and Romo got hit again just as he let go of the ball.
Doug Free pulls Romo off the deck. Literally had to pick him up off the ground.
And it's good protection. You're going to see it's a good pocket, but watch on the backside up here. It's closing, it's closing, it's closing. And boom, he gets a late hit. Boy, those ribs have got to hurt, but that is a heck of a throw. And this is, look at the size differential. This is not legal. That's not fair. They ought to outlaw that. Nothing against my man Dotnay Whitner, but with Jason Witten, with Jason Witten as big as he is, that's why the quarterback goes to him in that situation.
What a throw! And a touchdown for Miles Austin. Madieu Williams gambled and came up empty. But what a throw by Romo after getting picked up by his teammate.
And that's the kind of throw that if the safety had gotten there, we'd be saying, what's with Romo? He's forcing the ball in. What's the problem? Never up, never in, right? Isn't that what the golfers say?
That's it.
You got to forget it. You move on. You make the throw, and you come up with a touchdown. Kudos to the young man.
Huge receiving day for both Austin and Witten. Austin 7 catches, 129 yards. That is his 3rd touchdown, and they're looking at this play.
Previous play. Staying with you.
You know, to build on that point, Tom, we'll talk about it when you get back. Look at this. Oh, I think he's in. I don't think the knee hit. We'll see when we come back. Well, you can see right here, the key is, does he have control? Yes. Does the knee touch the ground before he breaks the plane? No. Does he maintain contact as he breaks the plane? Yes. That should be a touchdown.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. It is a touchdown.
The verbiage, of course, confirmed, meaning they saw the same thing. The call was confirmed because all the elements are there. The catch. You know how strong you have to be to do this?
Man. You know, you look at that move right there.
That's
for any of the guys out there that have ever, maybe with their wives, you go try a yoga class, right?
Yeah.
And then you all of a sudden look around the room and women are holding their bodies up with one arm and you're going, I better get out of here.
That's not. Yeah.
I made the mistake of once. It won't happen again. What a play by Austin.
I want to go back. I know I may belabor it here a little bit, but, Tony Romo's had a tough week. And I will tell you this, even as a coach, let alone as a fan, you can take a throw of any quarterback in a critical situation. We're going to see again just an unbelievable throw. That is, if you were to freeze this frame as the ball came out of his hand, there'd be any number of times that you'd say, what are you doing? You can't throw that. The safety's there. This is going to be a mistake. And then you make that kind of a play. And that's what the big league guys do. If you last long enough, you do so by making more of those plays than we saw last week against the New York Jets. So far, Tony Romo's career has been that. Doesn't mean you're not vulnerable. Doesn't mean it's not going to cost you a game. But the great quarterbacks will tell you, if I only throw it where you tell me to throw it, I only throw it based on what the offense says, we're never going to be any good. But Tony Romo wants to be good.
Romo has hit on 14 out of 26, 231 yards, a couple of touchdowns. He's not been intercepted. Miles Austin, 3 touchdowns in a game. First time he's done that. So now the pendulum swings to Alex Smith. We'd like to welcome the men and women in uniform serving around the world watching our broadcast today in 175 countries on the American Forces Network. We cannot thank all of you for all you do. We hope you're enjoying today's game. God bless you. And thanks for everything you do preserving the greatest country in the world, bar none. Quick hit to Joshua Morgan. That'll be a gain of 13 on first down.
Tom's situational offense, and there's any number of different situations. Third down, backed up, 2-minute. This is classic 4-minute offense. Now, I know there's 6:30 on the clock, but 4-minute mentality says our job now to preserve a win via what we talked about earlier, bypassing the first down, taking the points that came on the board, is we don't give this ball back to the Dallas Cowboys. That's the challenge to Alex Smith and Jim Harbaugh right now.
7 offensive linemen on the field for the 49ers.
San Francisco.
And that goes to the mentality that I'm talking about.
30-second timeout.
I'll come back to that.
A timeout by Jim Harbaugh. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee.
And we keep checking in with Tom Brady, who just keeps on doing it. 381 yards and 3 touchdowns, and they're still midway through the fourth quarter. His 898 yards total, the most ever by a quarterback in the first 2 games of the season. New England trying to hang on against San Diego, up by a touchdown with under 6 minutes to go. Tom and Brian?
Well, Tom Brady, like Jim Harbaugh, a Michigan man.
What San Francisco's doing right now is along that 4-minute mentality. They've got the extra linemen in. They want to push it around. They're doing some shifting and motioning to calm down the front 7 of the Dallas Cowboys. And you got to make sure you get it right. You don't want a penalty here.
Gain of 3. Call it 2 by Frank Gore. It's been a very quiet day again for Gore. 19 rushes, 40 yards. He only had 59 yards rushing in the opener. And we mentioned what a great job Dallas did against a run-oriented New York Jets team last week.
Yeah, and that's something that the 49ers are going to have to look at because they didn't run the ball very well last week. At least they've stayed with it here. They know, and we're going to see a bunch of it here in this drive if they can maintain it.
Marcus Ware, his second sack of the game.
You're not getting out of the grasp of this guy. He's going to come off the edge, at least in a predictable position right here off this edge. The play fake. This is tough on a quarterback. You play fake, come out naked, and now an unblocked DeMarcus Ware. You're not getting out of those mitts right there, I can promise you. That's a quarterback's nightmare to see one of the top sack men in the league totally unblocked. I can see his number, his face mask, and smiling at me and taking me down to the ground.
A pair of sacks today, a pair of sacks last Sunday. 19 career multi-sack games for Ware, which ties for the most in Cowboys history.
Delay game. Offense. 5-yard penalty.
Well, the heat being turned up a little bit here, and the 49ers not handling it well right now.
Jim's upset about something, but again, boy, you got to move on. You got to move on. You know, you look down that play sheet that he's calling off right there. There's not a whole lot of third and forevers. You can only plan for so much. You don't want to put him on a short field. Maybe throw an intermediate route. This is clearly going to take a throw, run, or catch and run rather than think you're going to get it in a shot thrown for the chains.
They're going to be lucky to get this off. They just do. Smith slides up to the 27. So the clock will wind down under 4:30 to play here in the fourth quarter. And the Cowboys will get the football.
When we talk about turning points, big plays, tipping points, Tom, Andy Lee needs to crank off one of those punts we saw earlier in the game. That could make a huge difference in this game. He needs to get his foot into this one. He needs to change the field position equation in the favor of the 49ers with a good kick.
And that he does. My, oh my.
Boomer.
All the way back to the 10. And McCann is run out of bounds at the 24. 64-yard punt by Andy Lee. Been a Pro Bowler in 2 of the last 4 years. We'll get ready for television's biggest night. The 63rd Primetime Emmy Awards hosted by Jane Lynch. The laughter, the surprises, the red carpet preview show. The 63rd Primetime Emmy Awards live tonight only on Fox. Dallas with 2 timeouts remaining, 4 minutes and 3 seconds to go, and the 49ers up by 3. See what Romo has done prior to getting hurt and since.
The injury focused him. You got to see a lot of Miles Austin, a lot of Jason Witten in this drive.
But it was interesting. You saw him talking to that man, Jesse Holley, on the sideline before this series began. Perhaps saying that's what the 49ers are thinking
exactly
about.
Right. Well, it takes a village, right? Isn't that the term? Everybody's got to chip in.
What happened to you?
Yeah, you need a big city for me. A small village isn't going to get it done. But at some point in this drive, again, the 3rd down, big play. This is great because they're going to give you these other guys, but your playmakers are the ones that are going to show up.
Monday.
Back-to-back catches made by Jesse Holley. Played in 12 games last year as a rookie free agent out of North Carolina.
They're using it all now. This is the type of stuff, given the offseason we had, the limited training camp, the situational stuff that coaches were most worried about. This is interesting to see how Dallas, again, in a 2-minute situation at the end of the game. Nice ball.
That's a rookie, DeMarco Murray, to the San Francisco 27. Here's what we were talking about before this series began. Romo talking to a guy who had never had a catch on the sideline ever in his career.
And Romo told us what he told us the other day. Hey, I'm the big brother now. I'm the senior. I'm the statesman. I got to take the leadership role. He's earned that. He's been there. That's exactly the example of what we're talking about. He's taken total control of this offense, of this football team.
Locked down at the line of scrimmage, second down. So here we are for a second straight week as you get a look at the deflection made by, it looks like Ray McDonald got that big paw on him.
That's that inside presence we talked about. A little stunt. Nice move by McDonald.
But you know, as we're approaching this 2-minute warning, you can't help but turn back the clock to a week ago. Romo, the 2 turnovers, and now with fractured rib, he's trying to lead his team to a victory late. That'll be short of a first down on a catch by Murray out of the backfield, and that brings us to the 2-minute warning. Can Romo bring the Cowboys back? Two minutes to play at Candlestick Park. The quarter began with Dallas trailing by 10. Missed a 21-yard field goal, their opening possession. And 3 points the difference right now.
Comes pressure. Great grab.
Austin very close to a first down. It looks like he has enough. He does.
Now the question becomes for the Mr. Young Dan Bailey, who has already missed a field goal at, PAT depth. Where do I have to go to feel good to try the field goal here? I mean, I'm going for touchdown. I'm going for the win, but I got to also think about taking this thing to overtime. How far down do I have to get?
They're bringing a blitz again. And again, Romo gets it away, and again he connects with Austin. Gain of 8. Of course, with the Cowboys leading by 7, chance to really put it on ice. Romo fumbled down at the 1. A blocked punt. Returned by Isaiah Trufant to tie it. Romo throws the interception, which led to the field goal that gave the Jets the win.
And there's a lot of elements to that, Tom. Yeah, there was the interception, but there was the blocked punt. There was the big play to Plexico Burris down the field. There's a lot of elements to that that get dumped on Tony Romo. They, I believe, are obviously in a comfortable area in terms of attempting a field goal here, I guess. I don't know what young Mr. Bailey's range is. The wind is a non-factor uniquely here at Candlestick Park. Very rarely is it not. A missed field goal early in the game has already seen its effect. Would be tied up right now if he had hit this chip shot. It's easy to call a chip shot when I'm not the one attempting it. But let's see if this big physical offensive line of the Dallas Cowboys has sufficiently worn down the smaller 49er defense to see if they can run the ball here for a first down.
Well, if you're wondering, Bailey's long in college at Oklahoma State was 52. Miles Austin in the backfield.
No.
You know, Brian, I mean, is the ball loose is a question. Wow. Brian, I mean, if they have the football, I got to ask you. You've played the entire game and you haven't asked a wide receiver to carry the ball. That clearly is a fumble. And Dallas covers it up. But, I mean, well, nonetheless, here's fourth down. They got to go. They're going to go for it.
Feel they're outside the range.
Clock's running. They have a timeout.
And they're going to use it. They're going to take it down. I don't know that you want to take it down too far here. Why would you not?
Well, they're going to run down to 3. This would be a 47-yard field goal try.
which is obviously what they're attempting. Looked like they were going to line up to run a play. I'm questioning, well, why wouldn't you call the timeout earlier if you're going to go up for fourth down and give myself some more time? But clearly the plan is here. They're going to go for the field goal and go for the tie. So now taking it down inside of 2 seconds is the right thing to do.
Well, for young Mr. Bailey, we told you he hit his first field goal try in his NFL debut last week against the Jets from 34 yards out. On the opening possession today, he missed a 21-yard field goal try. His long in college, for what it's worth, 52 yards.
Yeah, that wasn't on an NFL film, on an NFL field. For the San Francisco 49ers breathing down your neck. Let's see, young man.
Out of the hole to McBride. Officially 48 yards to tie it. He nailed it.
Good for him. Redeemed himself from the earlier miss. Good for him.
A week ago, Romo and the Cowboys let one get away in the fourth quarter. Today they rally from 10 back to tie it on the final play in regulation.
Well, we talked about a tipping point for a team, for a game, for a player, for a season. These are the type of little plays right here, but you love the drama of the game. A young man that has struggled during the day has put his team in a position where they're down by 3 with 2 seconds left. You come in, what do we say? Move on to the next play. You got to shut it out, step up there. Jason Garrett, Tony Romo know what this is all about. Let's live to fight another day. We're in overtime. Rallying up. Jim Harbaugh says, you know what? And that's the toughest task. The Cowboys are pumped up. They've taken it to overtime. As a coach, and Jim Harbaugh very wisely, hey, my team might be down. I got to get my team emotionally pumped up because they're the ones that were just tied. Let's crank this thing up.
Overtime rules. They'll flip the coin, play 15 minutes. Each team awarded with 2 timeouts. And the bottom line, the first team to score is all she wrote. Game over.
Okay, gentlemen, in the overtime, we have fourth quarter timing. Each team is entitled to 2 timeouts. First team to score wins the game. Dallas, it's your choice once again. The logo represents heads, shield represents tails, and your choice is?
Tails.
We call tails. It is heads. It's received. San Francisco has won the toss. Let's receive.
Alex Smith and the 49ers get the football first in the overtime. When we return to San Francisco, it's the NFL on Fox. Set to begin the overtime, and Ted Ginn Jr. waiting. Last week after Seattle had pulled within 2 points. A kickoff return for a touchdown. 59 seconds later, returned a punt for a touchdown. 49ers get the ball to begin this overtime, and no return attempt for Ted Ginn Jr. That one hammered by David Beeler. And again, to bring you up to speed, because in the postseason, the rules were a little bit different.
Yeah, you're going to get both teams are going to get a chance for the most part. I'd like to see them doing it in the regular season, so it doesn't show up for the first time in the postseason. But that's not the case here. It's sudden death or sudden victory, as they say.
It's interesting to note the team winning the coin toss has lost more than they have won. Does that surprise you at all?
A little bit, because it was the numbers that was the other way that indicated we needed to give both teams at least one possession that led to the rules change, at least in the playoffs.
Earlier in the game, David Akers hit from 55 yards. Will he get a chance to send the Niners home winners? Gain of 12 on the pass to Ginn.
Well, again, they're not dialing off the blitzes, pressures, I should say. Unfortunately, Mike Jenkins slipped down at the end. They got to check their new shoes. We've seen a couple guys go down. Remember the big touchdown by Miles Austin was with the 49er falling down.
Gore running through a tackle of Brooking, who was able to finally drag him down, but a gain of close to 8.
Look at the way he covers up the ball. This is the veteran consummate pro of Frank Gore. And look at the positive yards. That's a big man, linebacker now. He's taken for a ride there. Got the ball covered up. Not going to risk the turnover.
Called a gain of 7 on 2nd and 3. A huge sack for Jay Ratliff.
Nice job on the outside by DeMarcus Ware. Watch this. He blitz peels. It looks like they're going to get outflanked, and all of a sudden he peels, runs with Gore. Alex Smith has no place to go. Waiting for the posse to show up on the inside. Nice, well-orchestrated pressure. Nice play by DeMarcus Ware.
3rd and 11. That is a catch, but it's 1 yard short of a first down. Maybe a yard and a half. Overtime change, you're thinking it all here, Brian Billick?
Boy, this field, 1 yard. Gosh, no, I think I got to punt it. I got to have faith in my defense. I know they've been gashed a couple times here. You got to make the decision. You got to make it quick. What are you doing? Yep, they're going to punt it. And that's the smart thing to do. You want to go for it. You want to send the message. You want to believe in your guys. But this is the smart thing to do.
Rookie Dwayne Harris will wait on a punt from Andy Lee.
Now they're going to rethink it a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to talk about it.
Timeout. San Francisco. Their first. A 30-second timeout.
Well, by calling a timeout, it certainly tells you he is perhaps really thinking about this, because they could have let the clock wind down and take the penalty and give Lee a little more room.
Well, and then now it's okay. What are our options? How comfortable I am with it? I don't know that the timeouts should make much of a difference in terms of do you want to go for it or not. And I'm going to give you the most compelling reason why they should probably go for it is because I'm likely going to miss my flight with the overtime. So
they're reviewing to see whether or not this is a catch by Ted Ginn Jr.
Wow, interesting. Now it looked like he had it in. I'm just kidding, of course. I'm loving watching this overtime.
So they're going to take a look at this one upstairs.
Question becomes, does he regain control? You can see a little bit of a bobble here. He's got his feet in bounds. He doesn't have it in control. Now he does. The knee's down. He's not out of bounds yet. Did he regain and maintain control? No, may not. I didn't see the shading of the field. It looked like to me, Tom, like he may have still been bobbling it now that I see it from that angle in the white.
Yeah, the left knee looked like it had already hit out of bounds. I think they're going to bring this play back.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Take a look at it. It's hard to tell that angle as opposed to the other angle.
It looks like, now we can't see it here. Stop it right there. I think the white is in here.
Yeah.
We can't quite see that from here. It looks like the line's there. It is not. I'm looking at the tarp. Now you can see it here. Now that we've seen he was, he has his feet, but that ball's still juggling around. He now has control, but the knee's already down. So if that is the case, that may be taking a little bit of why, okay, well, where do we respot the ball? We got to go back. This is huge now because obviously if they bring this back, although Andy Lee has shown the ability to punt this thing as far as he has to.
Well, this is taking an extraordinary amount of time. Ron Winter still under the hood.
As I
and
said,
now he's coming out.
They may have wanted to also determine, okay, where do we take this thing back to? They got to get that right. They got to get
31-yard line is where it would be spotted.
After review, the receiver did not maintain control of the ball throughout the process of completing the catch. Therefore, it's an incomplete pass. It will be fourth down to the 31-yard line. Please reset the game clock to 13:11. Thank you.
Well, it's nice to see Ron Winter has kept his manners in check. Even as we've rolled around into overtime, Dallas will get the football for the first time in this overtime. Last time they asked Andy Lee to give him a big punt. He hammered 163 yards, but it should be noted he kicked it so far that Harris was able to bring it back 14 yards, setting up that final drive to tie it on the field goal.
Yeah, that's the proverbial out-kicking your coverage. Boy, and this kid's got the leg to do it. Needs to angle it to one side or the other. Limit the lanes that the return man can take.
Harris. Pretty nifty return again for the rookie out of East Carolina. Miles Austin, a touchdown. Delaney Walker, and then the comeback begins. A touchdown to bring him within 3, and then the final play of regulation. The field goal from the rookie Bailey.
Should stay with the run here.
Nope. They're going to go for the big hit down the middle.
Oh my goodness.
Jesse Holley is tackled inside the 5 all the way down to the 1. "77 yards.
Wow. Looks like a front that you're going to go ahead and run the ball. Play fake. The safety came screaming up because it looked like run to him too. And Holley gets in behind him. Great call. Great throw. Big play for the Dallas Cowboys. Now you just take a knee to set up where you want to kick the field goal. Or you just go ahead and kick the field goal. Not quite sure what Jason Garrett wants to do here unless he wants to move it to the middle of the field. But you just make the kick and go home. Yeah, he's going to do that now.
How about Jesse Holley? He's never had a catch in his NFL career than prior to the last drive. With the Cowboys down 3, we noted at the time, I'm looking for you on this upcoming drive. We're assuming that's what Romo was saying to Holley. He completed a couple of passes to him on that drive, and for a young man out of football, 2007 on the Bengals practice squad, did not play for anybody in 2008. A year later on the Dallas practice squad, then last year finally got a crack at it. Did not make a single catch in his career until today. And now Romo, 1 week after hearing about nothing else except for the fourth quarter collapse, comes off the bench after being injured in the first half, playing with a fractured rib, we understand, at the very minimum. Is a Dan Bailey 19-yard field goal away from giving Dallas the win. And Jim Harbaugh is going to call timeout. Again, we remind you, Bailey missed from 21 yards on the first possession of the game.
And this is obviously the the thing to do. How about that for Holly and Romo? How about Tony Romo with the week that he's had? Coming back with and doing it with a young man that has been inconsequential to a large degree up to this point. You got your playmaker, Des Bryant, not with you. This is what legends are made of, and Tony Romo stepped up to the challenge today.
The last time Jesse Holley made a game and a catch in a regular season game, you have to go back to the fall of 2006 at the University of North Carolina.
Never hear of Wally Pipp?
I've heard of him.
Right? You never know.
You never know. That's right. Well, now, just like we never know, 19 yards is not automatic. Dallas rallies from 10 back in the fourth quarter. A week after blowing a 14-point fourth quarter lead to win in overtime, 27-24. It'll be a better week for Tony Romo and the best week ever for Jesse Holley.